Hey folks, I'm Joe, and today on Big Fast Customs, we're going to strip the Speedster, drop the coupe body on the chassis, and then things get out of hand, like usual. So, stick around maybe. Alright folks, so let's go ahead and start getting this body off. I don't think it'll take too long, but I've only got a little bit of time here after work. So let's see how far we can get. Okay, well that didn't take long, and now it's a whole new car. So I think that's it for tonight. The mosquitoes are starting to come out. I'm gonna roll this back over into the carport, stuff the doors back in it, get it covered up, and probably be a few days before I get to do anything else on it. But right now, the body's held on with 2 bolts up here on the front of the frame, and the steering column is mounted back up loosely. So we should be able to move it and everything, and we can get started on putting this thing back together. So I will see you guys shortly. All right, folks, we're going to get started on the firewall, which, as you can see, is completely missing. There's no firewall in here. There's also no bracing from the A-pillar all the way up to the front, so there's no front mount or anything. I don't know why they took it out, but they did for whatever reason, and now I've got to replace those things. Luckily, I have some of what I need. I've got these 2 cowls. Both of them aren't in great shape. This one in particular is, you can see it's pretty rusted out all over the place, but it does have a good firewall and remnants of the front mount on it. So we're going to use the firewall off of this one. This one, unfortunately, the firewall has been cut, and also the gas tank has also been cut out. So it's just a topper. If the gas tank on that is bad or too dirty or something, maybe I'll just swap to using just a cover and put my stainless steel tank in there. But I'd like to use that gas tank if I can. But this cowl is going to give up. On the driver's side here, we've got the bracing all seems to be in pretty decent shape on that side. So we're going to take that out and use that on the car. But on this side, we're missing a big chunk of it. So you can purchase these parts for basically this piece, and then the piece that goes across the bottom. It's about $300, and it only comes in a set, so you got to get both sides. And I don't really want to spend $300, especially when I only need one side. So keeping with the idea of this build that a kid in the 50s was building it whenever he had money and time, I'm gonna take what's left here, use this side as a pattern, and try and fabricate what's missing from that side so we can get the car all together. The good news is I can mount that firewall with the remnants of the front mounts and get everything up into place so that we know where everything's sitting. I can put it on top of the body blocks and have everything sitting in the right place, so it'll make it easier for building that. But at least I've got one. I'm also lucky that this cowl has the hinges still on it. I'm gonna have to steal those because this car really has anything that could unbolt, they took off. So we'll use those on here as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring these things inside and start hacking off all the parts I need. So I'll bring you guys back in a few minutes. All right, folks, I got the subframe extensions out of that spare cowl. I also got the firewall and all the hinges. Everything came out really well, so I'm pretty happy with that. And the driver's side subframe extension's pretty good. You can see there's, I need some work in this area, a little bit up in here, but overall it's very usable. I can, fix those two little areas and we can use that one. The passenger side, however, is, it's missing a bit. So the plan is, I might actually use the top portion, maybe from here up, but the rest of it's all got to be made. So I'm going to make a template off of this one in tape. Then I'm going to pull it off and kind of compare it to the passenger side and see if they're a mirror image of each other. They look like they are. And if they are, then I can use this template to make, I'll start out making this piece here. And then we'll work on making at least the bottom portion of this for this side. So I'm going to start with some tape, and I don't know if it'll stick. This is some weld through primer I put on both of them. This one I sandblasted and then primed. This one I just primed just to make it so tape could stick if I needed to, but let's see if we can make a template. Okay, so that's our template, and now I'm going to try to peel it off carefully in one piece and see how it matches up to this other one. All right, there is our template. So let's see if I put it up against here. Does it? Yeah, it pretty much mirrors what's left of this one. So this is our template, and now I need to just get a piece of sheet metal and we'll give this a try. Okay, so there you can see I've got the templates on the metal. I've traced around it. I'm going to pull this off, but first I'm going to cut the metal out, and then I'm going to actually trim the piece that I need out on my bandsaw because I can get it a little more accurate. And I'm going to go do that, and then we'll come back and we'll start bending this up. Okay, folks, so we got our, I don't know, dragon shape, Henry Ford's dog, I don't know. But I cleaned up the front. I used a 36 grit disc to take off that paint that was on there. I left it on the other side because this took a long time. I don't know if that's industrial paint or powder coat, but it was really difficult to get off. So I know that it's going to stick just fine on here. So I scuffed this up, and I'm just going to leave it like that. But I've got my lines on here. I measured them against the other parts, and I think I'm good. So I'm going to run this over to the brake and start bending. I'm pretty sure I've got everything on the right sides where I need to bend it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you the end result. Hopefully it's going to turn out just like that one, and then we can move on to what I think is probably the more difficult part. So I'll be right back. Okay, folks, I've got it all bent into place. I needed to run around the garage and find some chunks of steel and stuff to help me bend some of this stuff, but I think it turned out pretty good. The paint did start coming off when I bent it, of course, so I probably will strip it, but it looks pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely better than the piece that's half rotted away. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. The only difference really between this one and the one I made, you can see down here on the bottom how this raises up in this area. And I did not do that here. I took this piece out to the frame, set it down in there. There's nothing on the frame that requires this to be up like this, but you can maybe see this level where the floorboard goes is a little bit taller than the floor level of this. So I'm not sure yet. I'm definitely not going to be able to hammer that. So I would probably cut it, raise it up, and then weld a little strip in there. Or, more likely, I'll get a little strip of metal, like a block, put it in here and just tack it in place. And then when I make this piece, it can sit over top of the block right here, because the lower level really can be flat. It doesn't need to be raised up like that. But we'll figure it out when I get there. I'm going to call it a night. This took me a while, and it's getting late, so I will try and start working on the more difficult side tomorrow, and I will bring you guys back then. So stick around. Okay, folks, I apologize. It's been a pretty choppy video, but so I did wind up putting this step in this piece to kind of match this one. I basically just cut it and then welded a strip in there. My welds are not great, but you know, they're strong, so good enough. I'm working on making now this second piece that goes from here all the way up. Worst case, I can always steal the top half of that if I have problems, but for now I'm trying to make the entire piece. I've got, again, this sheet metal I got from a shelf from or a cabinet from a office building, so free metal. I've got my idea drawn out on here. I need to cut off some of this stuff and then take it over to the brake, bend it all up, or at least most of it, and then most likely I'm going to need to cut a V in it somewhere in this area so that I can bend it up to follow this. I'm not exactly sure if that's how I'm going to do it, but because I think the way I planned it out, that might not necessarily work. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, that wouldn't work, because I would have to take a chunk out of here. No, that should still be okay, because I added a little extra on the end, so we should be okay. But hey, let's find out. So I'm going to go cut this and start forming. Basically, I've got lines on the other side as well, so I'm going to start out forming this lip and this bend here, and then from there I'll start doing some more of the cutting, because I've got it kind of just square right now, and some of that's got to be trimmed off a little more creatively. So let me go work on that, and then I'll bring you guys back again. All right, guys, so I cut it out and I started bending it, and then I realized something, and I want to know how many of you guys saw what I was about to do and yelled at your screen, "Hey, stupid, stop it!" But I did it anyway. You see, I made that, which kind of lines up with that. Unfortunately, I'm supposed to be making this side. So, had I not bent it yet, I could have saved myself. But I did bend it, so now I got to start over. Well, it was good practice. So far, it's looking pretty good. I should be able to actually have enough left over that when I cut to bend that, it'll be good. So, let me go get another piece of metal and re-prep it all over again, and yeah, I'll bring you guys back when I have the other side made to this point. All right, folks, so now look at that. We got matching pieces. So we don't need this one. We're going to just work on this one. So I'm happy with that. That looks good. This one will wind up fitting onto this piece once we get everything all trimmed up. So that's good. Now I need to work on this bend. My plan is I'm going to cut along this line all the way down here, leaving only this connected. And then I'm going to trim out some material on this side and hopefully bend it up. You know, we'll do some trial and error to try and get that angle to match up. And once I get it to match, then we'll tack that back in place so we can lock that angle in. And that should be good for that. Then we need to work on the back part here. And if you look at this, you can see it's kind of straight until it gets to about here, and then it's coming in. And there's a step across here. And that has to be there because this portion fits under the sub rail that's already in the car. So if I just made this straight, it wouldn't fit back under the sub rail right. So my plan is I'm going to cut it on this line, just cut the whole thing off. Then I'm going to take this piece, slide it under this piece, and weld it back on. So that should give me my step. Plus, I can take this piece and weld it back in on an angle to give me this run-in like this. Once I've got it like that, we'll transfer the holes onto it and trim off the back where it needs to be trimmed. That should take care of most of the bottom of it. And then we'll work on just doing this trimming up here. I think I'm gonna have to cut and bend this piece just to get that angle like that. But we're in pretty good shape, and I'm gonna cut this now and we're gonna work on this angle. I'm gonna leave the camera running for this, and it'll probably be time lapse, but let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got the two pieces cut off, and so the plan is I'm gonna basically kind of put it back together like that instead of straight. We'll do it a little bit like that. That'll give me a little bit of a step. I think that's pretty close to what we have in here. Yeah, that should be good. Now I just gotta figure out how to determine how far to actually need to be up a little bit. There we go. I don't want to eyeball it. I want to get it right. So let's see what I can figure out with the tools I have here. So if we imagine that's straight, the end is in about 3/4 of an inch. So if I do that, let's lightly clamp these together. little stronger than that. So that is straight. This should be different by 3/4 of an inch. Too much. Helps if I use the right side of the ruler. Too much. So that should be right. Again, if I go from here to here, 3/4. If I go from here in the same location, we are at 3/4. So that should be good. Let's tack that in place so we don't lose it. All right, let's try it now. All right, take this off. Double check this again. And we are at 3/4. Welding on a wooden table is always a good idea too. So the plan, I'm still going to finish this up here, but the plan is I'm going to put 2 holes in here and 2 holes in here. And I'm going to leave the 2 pieces not welded together. I'm going to take them out to the car, mount to the firewall, mount to the frame. We'll drill these holes to mount to the frame. We'll mount this to the cowl where it's supposed to go. And then this will be mounted also to the firewall where it's supposed to. And once all those things are bolted into place and everything can be lined up, then I'll tack weld here, 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 and here. And that'll put these pieces all in one piece. So far I am pretty happy with how it's turning out. I need to figure out how we're going to do this upper portion. It looks like I am a little short. Let's see. A tiny bit short. It shouldn't cause any problems. So maybe like a 1/8, 3/16 off the top, but that's fine. This was a rivet that held it to the firewall. So worst case, if I had to, I could tack the top to the firewall, but I think this will be just fine. And as far as our angles, these pieces are out and they look good. So I just need to finish up the top and then I think we're good. I'm pretty happy about that. All right, folks, so I've made a mess of my bench here, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It's not the prettiest, but I do still need to clean it up quite a bit. I need to grind some of this weld out of here. I got to get a die grinder out and do it. I might touch up some stuff in here, but overall, I'm happy with how it turned out. It's definitely better than the original piece. It's more complete, at least. So, like I said, this is going to go into the car. I'm going to have some holes here and here, here and here. We'll put this into the car. I'll drill these holes based on where it sits, and then we'll mount in these locations. We'll mount this upper portion to the firewall. the firewall will be mounted here. And once that's all in place, and this will also be mounted to the cowl. And once all that's bolted into place, so I can move it around if I need to, then we'll go ahead and we'll tack weld this panel here, 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 and here, and that'll make it one piece. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Like I said, it's not the prettiest. I'm not the best welder. I'm not the best metal man, but I did this all with simple tools. The most complicated tool I had was my sheet metal brake, which I got from Harbor Freight, and the welder. So I used a bandsaw as well. But other than that, everything else was just simple hand tools. A lot of these flanges I bent with a hammer by clamping a piece of metal to it because I couldn't put it in the brake. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I think it's pretty darn close to the driver's side. So I'll get this stuff all cleaned up off camera, and then we're going to take it out to the car and we're going to start putting this stuff in. All right, folks, so I haven't gotten a lot of time to work on this, but we're back on it today. I actually worked on it about 2 hours last weekend, but unfortunately all that footage was corrupt. So you didn't miss too much, but I'll get you guys caught up, and then hopefully we'll get this finished off today. But basically I mounted the body blocks here and here on both sides. I have not done the rear. That's a story for another day, but spoiler alert, there's more work to do back there. Up front, I've got the new subframe extension on that side, the old one on this side, plus the body blocks. Everything's mounted down semi-solid so that I can still move things if I need to. I've got the firewall on. You can see I'm using screws instead of the rivets. That should be fine for now. Everything's fairly solid. I did also strip all the paint from the hoop area here. Basically, I mean, you can kind of see, I hope you can see kind of in here. I mean, this paint was really thick. I found 2 different shades of red. There was some yellow, there was some white. I saw some primer, and there was some black paint in there. I don't know if that was original or just on there for something, but there was a lot of paint. It was, you know, like a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little over thick. So I cleared it all out of the hoop area, primed everything so that I can put these side panels on permanently, and that's all protected, and I know that I don't need to do any special work in here. So for the subframe extension, you can see that bracket on the top needs to be bent a little bit so that I can spot weld it to the other side. And we got to do a couple spot welds there on the bottom, and right there used to be a rivet both sides. I'm just going to tack weld that. We don't need to worry about a rivet. But the plan for today is I'm going to get the side panels back on. They bolt all through here. Once those are on, we'll put the tank back on, get that bolted back up, get it bolted across here. We'll line everything up, and then we'll tighten everything down, and finally do the front of the side panels, get spot welded to the side of the firewall here. And actually it also gets spot welded down here. We'll see how that fits when we get it in there. But that's the plan. We'll get this all finished up today, and we'll call the body done for now. Funny story, I plan to keep the door frames intact here, and the full doors, and then we'll do some kind of a chop and a Carson top on here. But I'll tell you, if I hit my head on this bar one more time, Roadster, that's what it's going to be. But I'm going to put the camera up on the tripod, hopefully at a good angle so you guys can see what's going on, and we'll get these side panels and gas tank on, and hopefully get this wrapped up. Okay, so all the lawnmowers have stopped, so hopefully you guys can hear me. I think my microphone's working. Yeah. Okay, so basically I had everything tightened down to the frame. That was a mistake. I needed to loosen everything and try and move stuff around a little bit more. I mounted the gas tank because I'm not sure about these side bolt holes or for any of that stuff could have been modified or whatever. I also see there's a weld across here, so this piece was probably cracked or broken off and they re-welded it. So I'm not sure this is even in the right place, fully. And I was having a very hard time trying to get everything to line up. So I thought the gas tank holes need to be correct. The point where the gas tank mounts to the firewall all need to be correct, because since you can replace the gas tank, those holes all need to line up. So I was pretty sure those should all be in the right place. So I put the gas tank back on. Then I mounted the side panels to the gas tank with the inner bolts here just loose so that they were in place. Basically my bottom holes down here where the subframe extension, the side panel, and then the A-pillar line up, the holes aren't lining up. I kind of expected that. I'm guessing those were probably drilled later on, and of course that one's I made myself, the subframe extension, so the holes could be way off on that as well. But basically with putting the gas tank on and the firewall mounted together, I think I need to drill the holes where the firewall mounts to the extension on that side so that I can adjust that a little bit more, because it looks like the extension sticks out further than the side panel. So we need to fix that. But on this side, I am trying to, I'm going to take the side panel off again, because it looks like where the side panel mounts to the A-pillar, it may have been loose and somebody kind of pulled out on the side panel, and it's dented in here. And when I bolt everything up, it's kind of wavy in this area here. So I want to pull the panel off, hammer these out a little bit, and then we'll put it back on, and hopefully it'll look a little bit nicer. It's very possible I'm being a little overly critical of some of this stuff. I keep saying it's a 100-year-old car, and maybe I need to listen to that myself. Some of this is not gonna, line up like a new car. So maybe we need to loosen up our expectations a little bit. But let me get this hammered out. If I can get this hammered out and this gap looks a little bit nicer, that gap on that side looks good. We'll get this panel back on. I'll re-drill new holes for here and over there, get those mounted. We'll tighten the body down to the frame, and then we'll tack weld the side panels to the firewall, and then we should be about done for now. And then I'll be confident that nothing's gonna really move. I can take the gas tank back out to strip it and repaint it and stuff. So that's the plan. Oh yeah, it looks better already. Yeah, that should be good. Actually, I think that will work. So let's get our bolts back in. We'll line everything else back up, and we will see how we did. The other one, put that screw back in. So basically the problem was the subframe extension was sticking too far past the edge of the firewall, and it was keeping the side panel out a little bit. Need that rain to hold off just a bit longer. It's raining harder. Really wanted to get these bolts in before I stopped and pulled the car into the carport again. Okay. Everything's bolted together, looks good. I'm gonna push this back into the carport and get the GoPro out of the rain. All right, folks, so it's raining. I've pulled the car inside. I don't have great light out here. So we're gonna call it a day on the filming. My GoPro's starting to have some issues again. But I'm going to tack weld. You can see this spot here, here, and down here, both sides. Then I'm gonna come in here and we're gonna tack weld here, here. We're gonna bend this bracket a little bit and tack this here to here. We're gonna tighten the body back down to the frame, and then I'll probably tack weld in here on both sides, and maybe a little bit on that bracket over there. That bracket's been replaced or something, and it's not mounted to the subframe, so maybe I'll tack weld that as well. But I'm gonna do that off camera, so we'll call it a night, and tomorrow hopefully it's not raining, and we'll do a little recap and maybe one more thing before we call this a video. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, folks, I got a little bit of a late start today. I had some other things I had to do, but it's 4 o'clock, and we've already got the sun going down, so looks like I'm about done with outside type work. But when I put the car in the carport last night, I was able to do the tack welds in the front of the panel here on the other side, but the rain started coming into the carport sideways, and I couldn't do anything on this side. So I got those done today. I basically just kind of welded through the holes that were there into the firewall, ground them down, threw some primer on it, 2 or 3 spots across the bottom into the subframe extension, and now those are done. The car is body's mounted solid. So basically the front is done until I really get into some more body work for paint. But yeah, it turned out good. I did throw in some old floorboards that I had just for myself, just to see how it looked like I was making some progress. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. You know, I told you guys I didn't mount the rear body blocks, and it's basically because there's no holes back here. You can look and see. Yeah, I think the hole is underneath this fiberglass or whatever that is. It's probably just a rust hole now. This side, I can't tell if it's just fiberglass or they put some metal on top of it. I don't know. But I've definitely got some work to do back here. It's not a big deal to drill a hole, but if that's just fiberglass, I really need to cut it out and fix it. You know, we can see there's some stuff back in here on both sides. It's almost a 100-year-old car. You got to expect to find some stuff, and I knew there was some stuff here. You can see there's a patch there, there's a patch over there. I knew those were there. Not exactly sure what's going on with the sub rail there, but we'll figure it out. But the big issue, or the thing that's going to take the most time, I didn't look close enough at these patches that you can see here. I always kind of looked at it from over here like, oh, they put in a patch, and then you go and you look at the outside. They did an okay job, you know, filling it in. Great. But no, I was completely wrong. I should have looked at it closer. That is not a patch. That is basically they cut out the inner portion and then welded a new one just over top of it on the outside. And you can see some real pretty welds around the outside there. So this has got thick paint on it. I'm not sure when I take the paint out of here how that's gonna look. I'm sure it's gonna look even worse, but hopefully I don't open a can of worms. I'll definitely take these panels off and then either cut everything and put them back, maybe trim it up to here and put them in place. Maybe I'll have to buy new ones of these panels if they're too damaged from the work that was done here. But it's little stuff like this. It's going to take some time, but I'll get back on that later. Right now, the next thing is going to be the doors. So I already showed you, or you saw the doors when they were on the car. They are completely horrible. I started stripping them down. They're going to be a lot of fun, but I think we can pull it off. So the next time I'm back on the car, the next video for this car will probably be the doors. I'm not sure what we're doing next. I got some stuff to do to the Doodlebug. Still got to work on the Camaro, but yeah, I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to get this done for basically October next year. I'd like to have it at least roadworthy. Maybe not done, but yeah, we're getting there. We've got the new firewall in, the side panels are attached, and the subframe extensions. So the body is solid now, and we can move on with more stuff. So guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Definitely make sure that you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the progress we're making here, and that helps YouTube know to let you know when there's a new video. So I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.